Hello everyone, and Fraxon here. And today we'll be heading into our third episode of Let's Draft. Quite frankly, I have absolutely no idea which classes will be present, so let's find out for ourselves, pay for the fee, and here we go. So we have Garrosh, Warrior. It's quite funny with all the weapons, and it's a class and with the enrage mechanics. It can be fun in Arena. Valera, with all the comboing, is probably the class I know least about. And then we have Gul'Dan, the endless life tapper, and with demon synergy, I must say I can't resist this pick. So, Warlock it is. Okay, just a brief consideration. Hero power is pay to life, draw one card. That's pretty good. Anyway, let's see our first draw pick. Cold Light Oracle. It's just not good enough for 3 mana, 2/2. With board control and board presence being the most important in Arena, I will not pick it. Felguard, on the other hand, apparently is a really good card, 3 mana for 3/5, but it destroys one of your mana crystals, so it really messes up your tempo. If you're playing maybe a rather rush deck, you could make it work. However, there are never any guarantees in Arena. And Sunwalker is a relatively solid pick, given that these two do have drawbacks, I will be taking Sunwalker. Next in line, Moshugan Warden, absolutely not. 4 mana, 1/7, never pick it. Undertaker is not gonna really work in Arena, and the alternative is Summoning Portal. To be honest, there are 3 pretty subpar cards, because Summoning Portal looks good, but it's one of those win more cards. It's good if you're already winning, therefore rather pointless. And I'm really debating whether it's Undertaker or Summoning Portal. This is tough. I really dislike both of them. But I'll take Undertaker for the sake of having a 1-drop, not because it's inherently good. Priestess of the Rune, 6 mana for 5/4, restore 4 health. Just garbage card. The stats are too low. 4 health is super low. Gets killed off by quite a lot of things. Hellfire, it's nice to have AoE. Floating Watcher is, I think, a fun card, and it's less strong than what I would like it to be. And so I will be taking the more conservative Hellfire option, since it's always good to have an area of effect or a board clear within your deck. Here we have an Oiltron, is a probably no-go unless we're building a mech deck, but doubt that's gonna happen. Reservoir Hunter is decent in Arena, but still rather uninspiring. Sentient Shieldmaster, 4 mana, 3/5, rather vanilla, but great stats for its cost. Now things get a bit more interesting. Doomguard is a really good card. Arcane Nullifier is a bit dull, and Defender of Argus would be good, but for possible future demon synergy I will definitely be taking Doomguard. And also because it's inherently good card. So Succubus, discarding a random card from your hand does not seem exactly what you would like to be doing, so I'm not sure I'm gonna pick Succubus. Healbot is okay, albeit uninspiring. Blackwing Corruptor, if you have Dragon Synergy going on, it's a great card. However, we're in Arena, we have absolutely no idea how many dragons we will be drafting. Therefore, I will be taking the more, let's say, secure Healbot. Considering I'm also a life tapper, it could also be good to get some extra health. It's very strange that considering when you draft Warlock, you always tend to get like picks skewed toward, let's say, the lower mana costs. So I'm just surprised to see so many late game cards already. Fang Creeper, 5 mana 3/6, it's decent but not excellent. 5 mana for 6 with the Spitesmall Smith is okay, and a Floating Watcher, but we're trying to build a demon deck. Well, I mean, okay, every time I play Warlock I'm a bit biased and I do enjoy picking demons. So for the sake of it, since Spiteful Smith, since the difference isn't exactly super high, I'll try and take the Floating Watcher in hope of other demons yet to come. More interesting cards. Chillwind Yeti is probably the best vanilla card you get. 4 mana for 4/5. It's like it exemplifies what Arena is all about. It's perfect. Worgen Infiltrator is a pretty nice card. 1 mana for 2/1 in stealth. Could trade with the opponent's, let's say, 2-drop. Can give you board advantage pretty easily. Mortal Coil is also another interesting spell, but I think that Chillwind Yeti is the card to pick here. Next we have the Spider Tank, it's okay. 3 mana, 3/4, that's above average, slightly above average. Mech Warper for Mech Synergy, it's a 2-drop, very standard 2-drop, and then we have the Silver Moon Guardian that is garbage. And given our current situation, I'm kind of tempted to take the Mech Warper for Mech Synergy, but maybe that's pushing it a bit too much. I think the Spatter Tank is a bit more interesting as a card. That 4 health really does make the difference. And here we have probably 3 of some of the worst cards there in the game. Well, not 3 of the most, but let's say Angry Chicken is by far the worst. Illuminator is pointless in this deck. I have no secrets, and Little Exorcist risks being just garbage. I'm going to take... I mean, there's a lot of Death Rattle out there, and I'm actually debating what is best. Because Little Exorcist could become a 3-4 situationally. However, Illuminator is always a 2-4. I'm guess this is really up to how risk averse you. If you're feeling more risk averse, in my opinion, you would be picking Illuminator since it's always a 2-4. If you're feeling a bit more also lucky, you might want to take Little Exorcist because Death Rattle is, let's say, a pretty recurrent mechanic. So debatable pick. Next we have Dread Inferno, that is pretty good 6/6, deals 1 damage. It also has this, let's say, added AoE effect, so that's nice. Explosive Sheep is meh, definitely not much of an arena card. I will skip the... because I'm really missing 2-drops and stuff like that. But no, I'll be greedy and take this last, let's say, high tier card. Well, high mana cost. And here, Salty Dog, 5 mana, 7/4, very bad. Loot Hoarder 2/1 is decent because you get a card, but that 1 health leaves it super vulnerable to enemy hero powers, therefore you really don't want to be playing that. So Mad Bomber is a bit of RNG, but finally we get the first 2-drop. In order, Flying Machine, terrible. Why terrible? Because 3 mana for a 1/4 is just bad, it doesn't kill anything. And basically, even if it has Wind Fury, so double attack is absolutely pointless. Tauren Warrior is not as bad, but still bad. 3 mana, 2/3. Basically gets killed by the opponent's 2-drop that is a 3/2, and therefore becomes rather ineffective. By far the best pick here is Dark Iron Dwarf. And here we have Imp Boss is one of my favorite cards. 3 mana cost. Every time it gets damaged, you get a 1/1. That's excellent. And Infiltrator is good, as I mentioned before, and Brewmaster is fine. I will be taking Gang Boss though, and have to just remind myself that I need to be picking 2-drops. Alarmobot is just bad, 3 mana for 0/3 with the off chance that it will summon, let's say, a random minion from your hand. That's just not good enough. Implosion is really good. I think it's Doomguard. I think is super good. But maybe having 2 Doom Guards may kind of clog my hand or put me too much in a situation of card disadvantage. So just for this reason I will be taking Implosion. However, I do understand that this pick is rather debatable. Following up next, Demon Wrath. Interesting when we're trying to build a demon deck. But this is not exactly the case. Mana Addict, 2 mana, 1/3. And every time I cast a spell I get +2 attack. However, in terms of spells I only have Implosion, so it's looking really bad. Ancient Watcher is even worse. It's a very dull 4/5 that basically can't do anything. So I think I will be taking Demon Wrath for sure. We have other nice 4-drops. The only problem is that I don't need 4-drops. Always Snapjaw, 4 mana for 2/7, boring. You might pick it in Hunter just because it's Beast. Yeti, 4/5 for 4, that's a good card, and I get Spare Part, also the opponent. A Gnomish Inventor is 4 mana to 4, stats wise it's terrible, but you draw a card. However, as I'm Warlock and already my hero power is all about drawing cards, I won't be taking this, I'll taking the Yeti. And I'm getting worried because I'm really lacking the early game. So Grimscale Oracle, 1 mana, 1/1, terrible. Corruption is just far too slow to be dealing with anything, and Soulfire is most definitely the pick that we must be taking here. It's by far better. You do discard a random card, but the 4 damage you can do both to enemies and both to the face of the opponent. So the card to pick. Going forward, Stone Skill Gargoyle, 3 mana 1/4. Absolutely ghastly. Abusive Sergeant I really like. I'd love to pick it, however I'm so deficient in 2-drops, I'll have to skip this and take the Mad Bomber, that is an uninspiring 3/2. Moving next, Sludge Belcher is excellent card. Shadow Flame is also really good, it's also a good clear, however in this deck with having already Hellfire I don't think we need it. Valley Teacher is a standard 3/5, but seeing how little, how not many spells we have, I'm not gonna pick it and gonna choose a Sludge Belcher. I mean, our late game is looking pretty good, but I'm more afraid of literally being steamrolled in the early game. So Frost Elemental is 6 mana for 5/5. It's decent, albeit a bit uninspiring. Shatterstone Cleric, 3/2, give 1/1 is pretty good. However, as I only have 1, 2, 3 drops in my 1/2 spots, I will be taking Unstable Ghoul. And going forward, Blackwing Corruptor, as we said before, it's pretty pointless if you don't have another dragon in hand. It's just bad with 4 mana health. It's just not good enough. The Harvest Golem is very solid because of its Death Rattle effect, and Loot Hoarder, as we said before, it doesn't cut it. That 1 health really puts you at a pretty big disadvantage. So Harvest Golem it is. Moving forward, Oasis Snapjaw, as I said before, you might want to pick it in Hunter if you're really low on Beast, but here there's no space for it. Flesh-Eating Ghoul is really dull and not particularly good. It has 3... It can spiral out of control, but the number of times that happens you can literally count on your fingers. So even though I don't want to be taking this 3-drop, I will be taking a Tinkertown Technician, and once again I'm really needing early game. However, if I will not get early game, I'll have to be planning on trying to survive. So the Bluegill Warrior is 2/1 with charge. It's just I think it's just not good enough. The Stormwind Knight is a 4 mana 2/5 with charge. The stats are, I mean, it survives something, but I think it's just not good enough. It has direct impact, but no. And I think Antique Healbot here might be the solution, since we're so I think we need, let's say, some catch up cards in case we get super behind in the early game. So this might be a debatable pick. Maybe I should be getting the Bluegill Warrior for the sake of having another 2-drop and being a bit risk averse. I know I only have another 6 picks after this one, but I'm probably more inclined to be risking it a bit more. So I think if you're more risk averse, take Bluegill Warrior. If you're feeling a bit more lucky and risky, take Healbot. And again, Abusive Sergeant is okay. I like it, but in order to make it work, you need something on the board, and initially speaking, we don't really have much on the board in the first turns. Burly Rockjaw Trog is decent 3/5 for 4. Dragonling Mechanic is just not very bad, it's just meh. The stats are bad, the 2/1 that is summoned is very easily killable. However, I just wanted to count how many 4-drops I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's actually a very considerable amount, so I will be taking the Abusive Sergeant here. Oh, and finally we see another 2-drop. The Mushugan Warden was absolutely out of the choice. No way you're gonna pick that. Mortal Coil is a nice spell with some card draw, however, I'm so deficient in 2 draws, I'll need to let some good cards slip. But hey, we get another Mortal Coil, drain life, 2 damage, and get 2 health for yourself is not great. Shattered Sun Cleric would be a fine card, however I'm already rather high on 3-drops, so I think I will be taking and appreciating the versatility of the Mortal Coil. Coming up next, Spellbreaker, 4 mana for 3 silences. It's okay, although silence is not such a preponderant mechanic in Arena. Leper Gnome is okay, 1-drop for 2/1, and the 1-drop 0/1 give extra health to your minions is fun, but in my opinion rather useless. Thereby, since I still need to be reinforcing my early game, I will be taking Leper Gnome. Moving forwards, Booty Bay Bodyguard, bad, 4 health. It has taunt, but just because it has taunt doesn't mean it's excellent. That 4 health is really undermining the stability, the goodness of the card and the value. Shadowbolt can be fun. Can be fun in the sense it gives more versatility to the deck because it adds spells, and you just don't want, let's say, pure minion decks. However, yeah, I think I will be taking Shadow Bolt here, because Tinkertown Technician doesn't really add much value here, while Shadow Bolt is a bit more versatile. Last two picks, and it's fun to see Twisting Nether. It's 8 mana, destroy everything on the board is like desperation card. So unless you're planning for playing in desperation mode, I would advise not taking it. Molten Giant is excellent in handlock, although I'm afraid this is not exactly handlock. And we will, given also the fact that we have quite a lot of late game, we will definitely be taking Recombobulator that can actually, with some good RNG, can actually be a massive, let's say, game changer. And that's it. That's pretty much the whole deck. So in more practical terms of early game drops, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's great. I mean, 8 minions early game with some spells mixed in is pretty good. 3-wise and 4-wise, I think we're pretty well balanced. Maybe the late game isn't super strong. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Although the anti-heal bots aren't exactly late game, they're more like that. Their board presence is rather insignificant. However, I think it's a relatively sturdy deck. I mean, we haven't seen, there are some par cards for sure, like Undertaker, and maybe Unstable Ghoul isn't great, Little Exorcist isn't fantastic, but the rest is rather solid. I don't mind. And having said this, I hope you did enjoy, let's say, this video. If there's any pick you think was wrong, please let me know, or at least you'd like to discuss or think it could have been handled in a different way, please do let me know in the comments. And aside from this, I'll see you guys next time.